Doctor Darwin Muñoz, con ustedes.
Sí. Gracias, buenos días a todos y todas. Me uno a los saludos protocolares de los que me precedieron. Y de manera especial quisiera no solamente darle la bienvenida al público que asiste, sino también felicitarles por estar acá con nosotros, porque eso es una muestra del interés que tienen en un tema tan importante y vital para el futuro de nuestro país. Como mencionaba el director que me precedió en la palabra, estamos en la 10ª posición, una posición nada envidiable con lo que son los riesgos producidos por este fenómeno de cambio climático. Me place bastante poder presentar en esta mañana a nuestra primera expositora, que viene desde Polonia, que junto a Thorsten Müller, que representa a la Fundación Fraunhofer de Alemania, pues son los socios europeos. En el caso de Izabela, ella es coordinadora de los proyectos de comunicación, marketing y comercialización de la investigación. También es gerente del grupo de verificación tecnológica y ambiental de IETU, que es la empresa, la institución con la que trabaja la fundación. Y es un organismo acreditado por la ISO, la norma específicamente 17020 vinculada a este tipo de trabajo. Ella, como jefa de la Oficina de Coordinación de Proyectos, sus responsabilidades incluyen el establecimiento, desarrollo y mantenimiento de los contactos de IETU con socios nacionales e internacionales y todo lo que implica la gestión de dichos proyectos. Ha estado involucrada de manera muy activa a nivel europeo en una cantidad importante de proyectos vinculados al tema de gestión de residuos sólidos, así como lo que es el tema de economía circular. Últimamente participó en el desarrollo de una agenda estratégica de investigación e innovación dedicada al cierre del círculo para la recuperación de materiales de vehículos al final de su vida útil, envases plásticos de desecho y equipos eléctricos y electrónicos de desecho bajo el proyecto de la Unión Europea del programa Horizonte 2020. Actualmente está involucrada en el proyecto Care for Waste, que es un proyecto fundado por el programa ERANEC-LAC, que es un programa bilateral de la Unión Europea y Latinoamérica y Caribe, y procura con ello pues, apoyar un nuevo modelo comercial de economía circular para la construcción urbana más. Sí. Y tu presentación es...
Mine is here. Okay.
Here you have the...
Maybe I'll just...
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So good morning, everybody. I wanted first of all to thank our hosts and the organizers of this event for the possibility to have this talk to you today and to present a case study that I think would be quite relevant to many of you. But I also wanted to introduce my colleague from the Institute, Marek Matejczyk, who is here, who is working with me together on this project and who is, I would say, much more experienced in waste management. I think he's working for something like 30 or even more years on setting up different waste management schemes, so he's really a very experienced guy. Today, we prepared a presentation for you on a very specific case. It refers to one of the cities in Poland. I guess that many of you have heard about Krakow, which is one of the main tourist destinations in Poland. This is also a city that was really beloved by our Polish Pope. So I think the name means and is recognized by you. Krakow was also the place where we had the chance to host our delegation here from UFEC and from Guatemala to show how the waste management system is organized there. And that is why I was requested by Gloria to try and present this case that they found particularly relevant here for Dominican Republic to present to the broader audience. And this is what I would like to do. I have already mentioned Krakow. You can also see where the city is located. It's southern part of Poland. The green area over here, this is where Katowice are located, where we work. Some of you may also have heard about Katowice because that was the city that hosted the last climate change conference. So as you see, Krakow is a large city. It is the second of Poland's largest cities. You will see that the official number of population is more than 765,000 people, but you will also see that there is a lot of fluctuation of population there. Because this is an academic center as well, so many students live there, and also many tourists come every year. Krakow has a very long and very well-established history of municipal waste cleaning. The company that provides the service employs right now about 700 people. What they are actually responsible for is managing the waste management system and the city cleaning system. In terms of what kind of a legal body they operate as a limited liability company that has been established by the city, and 100% of the shares belong to the city. Of course, the city of Krakow and the municipal service operates within a certain legal framework. As you know, Poland, as part of the European Union, adopted a number of European legal regulations, then set up how the waste management system should work like. These rules have been transposed into a number of national regulations, so you will find out a similar situation in other European countries as well. And of course, there's a number of regional and local laws that also set up the basis for the waste management. The most important of them is the Waste Management Master Plan for the area of Małopolska, so the region of Krakow. I wanted to highlight here that our institute has a very long tradition working together with Krakow, so that is why we also know the system very, very well. You may have heard from the previous presentations that we delivered last year that we had in Poland a kind of a waste revolution. This revolution was aimed at changing the organization of the waste management system in that sense that the responsibility for the management of the waste and at the same time the ownership of the waste has been transferred directly on municipalities. That basically means that the municipality has become responsible in full on what happens with the municipal waste that they collect. This is done based on the fees that the municipality collects directly from the residents. And well, there are some basic rules that result from the national and the regional law that the fee for the segregated waste and collected selectively is lower than non-segregated waste. Also, the fee may include some management of other waste streams like used electronic equipment or bulky waste. And what is also important, before the revolution, the waste revolution, we as inhabitants, as residents, we had to close individual contracts with the waste collection companies, which is no longer the case. Of course, as all over Europe and in many countries worldwide, our waste management system, both in Krakow and at national level, has to follow this famous waste management hierarchy, this pyramid, which of course has on the highest level the prevention and disposal as the least preferred option. How the scheme is set up in terms of organization in Krakow. Because the enterprise, the cleaning enterprise, is owned by the municipality, they could use a special case that refers to our public procurement law. Instead of setting up a tender to run the waste management scheme, because the municipality owns the company, they entrusted the enterprise to organize the system. They have a special in-house contract that includes two types of tasks. One task is related to maintaining the cleanness and order in the municipality, which means basically sweeping the streets, cleaning the streets, maintaining the green areas in the city, and of course, because we have snow, cleaning the snow during winter. The other part of the contract is related to organization and management of the municipal waste management scheme. Krakow is divided by local law into several areas. The municipal enterprise is responsible for setting up tenders to identify waste collection services that would operate in those different areas. So the management stays with the municipal enterprise, but the collection is subcontracted to some companies. The basis for the system is a system of declarations that raised a lot of interest from our guests from the Dominican Republic when we were presenting it. Each household has to fill in, it's obligatory, a declaration. Sometimes those declarations, depending on the type of housing, must be filled in by the landlords or the administrators of the buildings. And these declarations specify the amount of waste that is generated and also whether they want to segregate the waste for selective collection or not. You can also see here that the information included in those declarations serves as a basis for calculating the fees for the waste management. So, for example, for the single-family housing and for multi-family houses, the fee depends on the number of inhabitants. If you have the case where there is a building that is not fully inhabited because there are some other activities also being done, or it's not inhabited at all, but it generates municipal waste, Then the fee depends on the number of containers, so zafakons. Finally, you also have the case of the buildings that are quite popular here in the Dominican Republic, like the leisure houses or cottages. And this fee is collected based on a lump sum. You may be interested, especially those of you who originate from, who come from the municipal authorities, how city calculates such fees. What is taken into account? Of course, the city definitely calculates the cost of collection and transport of mixed waste, because not everybody segregates, to the segregation installation. So that's one type of the costs. Then the costs of mixed waste processing, so the segregation and on the mechanical and the biological treatment. The costs of the collection and transport of the segregated waste. The sorting of recyclables. Costs of bulky waste collection. Dismantling and processing of the bulky waste. And because the enterprise is also responsible for maintaining the different points where people can bring their own recyclables, we call them bells. So also the costs of operating this publicly available places to dispose your waste. Segregated waste. You might be interested how much those fees are. So I have made a calculation into dollars. So you will see that there is a difference in the prices between a segregated and non-segregated waste, which is quite high. I have calculated those prices for a 4-person family. So in the case of segregated waste, depending where you live, they can amount about $15, $14, $13, depending on the housing. And you can see that the costs are 1/3 higher when you don't segregate your waste, which is a very strong stimulus, and I would say driver incentivizing people to segregate. Here you can see the costs for other types of buildings that are either partially inhabited or non-inhabited, where you calculate per zapakon. Of course, if the segregation is to take place, you need appropriate infrastructure. To them belongs the different types of containers for waste segregation. So the colors are important. So this is what we do, this is what Krakow does for the multi-family houses. And this is how it looks like in the case of single family houses. So you will see that there are plastic bags of different colors that are provided by the enterprise to collect the different types of waste. These are the so-called bells, and they are used for collecting, segregate collection of waste in the city. I have told you that in Krakow there are very many tourists coming, so they have a chance to dispose their waste using these bells. The system in Krakow also includes some additional services to the households. That includes collection also of bulky waste and electronic equipment. And this is at no extra charge. It's already included in the price. So once, I think it was once a month, that they come and they pick up all these bulky waste. And they have also appropriate infrastructure to handle those waste that I will show you in a moment. Krakow is very, very careful and cautioned about collecting green waste. The reason is that the better biomass you get, the better compost you produce. And the compost in Krakow is seen as really as a commodity, as an asset. So they have realized very, very quickly that if you want to make that a marketable product, it has to be attractive to the clients. So, for example, they produce the compost either in bags, or you can buy it per tons. And they cooperate a lot with different developers, property developers, so that they can use this compost for the construction sites for creating the green areas. And this is the electro-waste collection system. You can see it's free of charge. You just call them, make an arrangement, and they come and pick up your electronic devices that you no longer want to use. There is also a program that they have set up with a charity organization, actually with the Red Cross, that would collect used clothes. There are also points that our Dominican colleagues and Guatemalan colleagues had a chance to see where you can bring your own waste and segregate it. You might be interested what kind of the elements the whole system in Krakow includes in terms of the operated infrastructure. So you have the waste collecting companies. At the same time, you have those selective waste collection points that I have just showed you. Then the system includes also the biomechanical waste processing installation where all the mixed waste come into. The composting plant, sorting plant, a special site that I will also show in a second for the bulky waste. And there is a separate entity in the city that operates a waste thermal treatment plant. And of course, all these elements of the installation of the infrastructure cooperate with different companies that either collect the recovered materials or collect also the alternative fuels based on the refuse derived fuels, and also the ballast waste from the different installations, like the ashes from the wastewater treatment, from the waste thermal treatment plant, and the bulky waste. Krakow, in terms of technology, has quite advanced installations. So here you can see the sorting plant. Here you can see the biomechanical waste processing installations. So they are quite sophisticated. It's really a big building. Here you can see how the collected packaging waste is being compacted. And this is the composting plant. And this is what happens with the bulky waste. There is a whole center when this bulky waste is being taken. it's dismantled. The electronic equipment is also dismantled into plastics, wires, metals, so everything goes separately. Right now, Krakow is working on setting up a point where instead of dismantling all the bulky waste and all the electronic equipment, there will be a possibility to repair it. So that's quite also in line with the circular economy concept, because some of the devices that arrive here may be used if repaired or if refurbished. Here you can see the landfill site. Of course, it's installed because it's obligatory by degazing installation, and the biogas is being also used on site for the different purposes. And this is just the waste thermal treatment plant, but this is operated by a separate company. But nevertheless, it still constitutes a part of the whole system. Of course, the Krakow enterprise is involved in very many educational activities. There is a whole education center set up by the facilities of the enterprise. They also organize a lot of events for children, for schools. And if you even go on the website, you will see that there is a very nice game for children about the segregation. Setting up a good system is one thing, but you also need to take it somehow under control. The declarations are obligatory, but you need a surveillance system that would control whether people really throw away of what they declared. So there is a special division that deals with those controls. Basically what they do, they check the bins, they check the bags to see if the content, if there's somebody declared segregation, whether it's really segregated. So they do it in cooperation with the municipal police. The problem is that the way that they enforce any penalties is in that sense that if they see that somebody is not segregating the waste, they tell him to segregate it, and if they see under next control that this is not being done, they may calculate some extra charges for previous months for not segregating the waste. This is the fleet of all the vehicles that serve the city of Krakow. And all those cars are being monitored. So there is a GPS system installed in the cars that is used to determine their position, but also to plan optimal routes for the waste collection. There is a whole dispatching office that coordinates the movement of the vehicles. It's one of my final slides, and I wanted to show you one thing. I have said that this system is very good, it really operates, but I wanted to tell you that it really takes time to make the recycling and recovery of materials and the efficiency of the program operation really, really very high. It already started 2015, but you will see that still a lot of people do not segregate their waste. It is, of course, increasing, but this is just to tell you that it takes time. I have told you that there are some rules and the obligations concerning the disposal of different waste fractions on the landfill sites. So Krakow is doing really very well. You will see that these are the required by law recycling levels. And you can see that Krakow is already doing better. These are the requirements concerning the disposal of biodegradable waste on landfill sites, which is also an issue here in the Dominican Republic. We have heard that it poses, the gases pose a serious impact on the climate change. So Krakow managed to go to the 0 level already. In terms of the amounts of waste being disposed in 2012 on the landfill site, Krakow managed to reduce it to 4%. I think that's all from my side. I've used a lot of time, I guess, but if you have still any questions, Marek and me are available here during the break.